In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental.
It's crazy to say, but Nicki Minaj has been a target again at her own home. The news just broke out about this man that decided to trespass onto her property.
Because what Nicki Minaj is alluding to with Roc Nation, I have seen disturbing patterns and trends as well. I've seen that they use bully tactics to silence people.
And the rappers say these that you've been doing these things to them, they're crazy and they're this and they're that.
This situation with Nicki Minaj is getting seriously intense, and it's starting to feel unsettling. The wild part is how quiet everything has been in mainstream media, like nobody wants to touch it. Some people believe that after Nicki stepped into political conversations, she ended up getting pushed out and sidelined by the industry. But this goes deeper than politics. It's not about sides. It's about claims that Nicki is being targeted by powerful figures like Jay-Z and Roc Nation to keep her quiet from exposing alleged behind-the-scenes secrets. Nicki has reportedly dealt with multiple swatting incidents over the years, which is no small thing. Police showing up at her home, false reports being made, and even serious accusations involving her family being thrown around. That kind of pressure isn't normal, and it raises a lot of questions about who would go that far and why. People have also pointed back to the tragic situation involving her father in that 2021 Long Island hit and run. The driver only received a short sentence, and many felt that outcome didn't match the severity of what happened. You don't have to be a hardcore fan to look at all this and feel like something isn't adding up. Some might say it's all just unfortunate timing or random events, but how many strange situations can stack up before it starts to look like a pattern? That's where things get uncomfortable, because once you start connecting the dots, it doesn't feel so random anymore. And then there's what Katt Williams said, which adds even more tension to the conversation. According to Katt, nothing in the entertainment world happens by accident. Everything is calculated and controlled at a higher level. He even said, when it comes to this industry, nothing is coincidental. Everything is planned and scripted, and whenever there's some scandal or a tragedy, you can be sure someone higher up is pulling the strings.
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is. In business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they kill this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
By the way, Katt already backed Nicki on one topic that's been stirring a lot of debate. The discussion around gender identity in Hollywood has been getting louder, and Nicki has openly shared her concerns about how these conversations are handled, especially when it comes to young people. She's made it clear she believes these are serious decisions that shouldn't be rushed, and that message has definitely caught attention. At the same time, more celebrities have been speaking publicly about their children's identities at younger ages, which has only added more intensity to the conversation. It's become a hot topic in the industry with strong opinions coming from every direction.
I personally don't have an issue with the trans part of the LGBT at all. I am the biggest advocate for adults being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're adults. I don't care. I only mentioned something because when it comes to children, I wouldn't even allow my 17-year-old daughter to get breast implants. Neither, like, and most 99% of the parents would not let their 17-year-old get breast implants. So if you want to let a child get breast implants, you're not going to want them to have any kind of surgery, because we all know the brain is not developed. And we've heard about 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What more do you need to know? That a child is 19 times more likely to commit suicide if they have a surgery?
Meanwhile, Katt Williams pushed things even further, and this is where it starts to sound really intense. He claims that what's happening in Hollywood isn't random at all, but part of something much bigger behind the scenes. According to him, This trend is tied to deeper industry practices, even suggesting it could be some kind of initiation process.
Years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender.
And just like Nicki, Katt Williams has had his own run-ins that people say don't look random at all. He's been arrested multiple times under circumstances that many fans question, with situations popping up that seem to come out of nowhere. It definitely raised eyebrows, especially since those cases didn't end up sticking in the long run. What makes it even more intense is that none of those situations led to serious time because nothing solid could be proven against him. On top of that, there were also claims about attempts to interfere with his family life, including issues involving his children, which only added more concern to everything surrounding him.
Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies?
Both Katt and Nicki have been hit with the same kind of labels over the years, people calling them crazy, unstable, and even throwing accusations about addiction at them. That kind of narrative can seriously damage someone's image, so it's not surprising why Katt would stand by Nicki, even if they don't see eye to eye on everything politically. When two people go through similar situations, that connection gets real fast. Now here's where things take another sharp turn because Nicki was reportedly targeted again, and Katt believes this wasn't random at all. On April 1st, a man named Leland Adams was arrested at Nicki Minaj's property in Calabasas after security footage showed him walking around inside her yard. This wasn't someone just passing by or standing near the gate. He was fully on the property, moving around like he didn't care who saw him. Security told him to leave, but he refused to listen, which made the situation even more intense. They had to step in, detain him themselves, and hold him there until sheriff's deputies showed up. And the timing makes it even more suspicious, because this all went down on the exact same day Nicki was expected to release her new album. But it gets even stranger. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department confirmed that this wasn't Adams' first incident in that same area. He had actually been arrested just 5 days earlier, released, and then suddenly shows up again, this time ending up on Nicki's property. That quick turnaround raised serious concerns about how this was even allowed to happen. And the most unsettling part is that this isn't an isolated situation. It's just one more moment in a long list of incidents involving her home. According to Nicki, all of this ties back to her ongoing issues with Roc Nation. She claims this goes way deeper than industry disagreements, saying it started with money, specifically a massive payout she believes she's still owed from the title deal, reportedly somewhere between $100 million and $200 million. Nicki has been speaking out about what she describes as questionable financial dealings, and she believes that ever since she started going public with those claims, she's been targeted in both her career and personal life. Back in June 2023, things took a frightening turn when someone reportedly contacted Child Services with claims about Nicki's son being mistreated. That call led to police showing up at her home while she was inside with her child, which must have been an incredibly stressful and overwhelming situation. Anyone can imagine how intense that moment would feel, having authorities suddenly surround your home over a report like that. And it didn't stop there. Just weeks later, another call came in, this time to 911, claiming there had been a shooting at Nicki's house. Once again, police rushed to the scene while she was home with her son, only to find out the report wasn't real. Situations like that can quickly escalate, and it raised serious concerns about who keeps making these false claims. Then fast forward to April 2025, and another incident happened. This time, someone contacted the sheriff's business line claiming a suspicious Big was on Nicki's property. Yet again, officers responded in large numbers, prepared for a serious situation that turned out to be based on false information. Nicki later spoke out about it, saying around 20 officers showed up while she was inside with her young child, which only added to the fear and confusion of the moment. After that, Nicki started calling out specific individuals publicly, including Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation. That's when things got even more controversial, because Desiree has been a topic of discussion in the industry for years. Some people have questioned her past, and there's been a sense that many are hesitant to even bring her name up openly. One of the few who did speak on it was Dame Dash. During an interview, he shared his perspective, saying that learning about certain business decisions connected to Roc Nation made him rethink how things operate behind the scenes. He also mentioned how people around him had faced serious legal issues over the years, which made those connections stand out even more to him.
This is the one time that the paper did scare me, and I was like, it has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, Informant, that he's in business with certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on...
Do you believe that, though?
I don't know. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe. You know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me, because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Irv Gotti's been harassed for years over shit he didn't do. I know they've been fucking with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that shit, I can't fuck with him at all, because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me, because, your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that is not tolerated at all.
Now, when people bring up Desiree Perez's past, things get even more intense. Back in 1994, she was arrested on serious charges involving possession and conspiracy to distribute illegal substances, according to reports that referenced court records. Authorities claimed the situation was part of a larger operation that stretched across multiple locations, including New York, Florida, and Puerto Rico, which made the case even bigger than it first seemed. And she wasn't alone in all of this. Her husband Juan O.G. Perez was also reportedly connected to the same situation, and he later became closely tied to Jay-Z. The two built a long-standing relationship over the years, even going on to create business ventures together like the 40/40 Club. As time passed, Juan eventually stepped into a major role as president of Roc Nation Sports, which only added more attention to these connections. Now here's where things take another unexpected turn. After being charged, Desiree didn't end up serving prison time in the way many would expect. Instead, she received probation after agreeing to cooperate with authorities. Reports say she assisted in investigations and helped provide information, which played a role in how her case was handled. According to those same reports, she worked closely with investigators during that time, even taking part in efforts to help build cases against others involved. That level of cooperation made her a key figure in those investigations, and it's something that still gets talked about when her name comes up. Then years later, in 2021, she received a full presidential pardon, which brought everything back into the spotlight again. Nicki even referenced this publicly, pointing out what she sees as double standards in how people react to different figures in the industry, especially when similar situations are handled very differently behind the scenes. In July 2025, Nicki took things to another level with a post that had everyone talking. She wrote, "So let me get this straight. Y'all so-called black savior Jay-Z has a Hispanic CEO who was pardoned by President Trump? Interesting." Then she kept going, questioning everything and calling out what she sees as contradictions in how people pick sides and stay silent when it benefits them. She didn't hold back at all. In that same message, she challenged the public, asking whether certain moves are really about loyalty or just about power and personal gain. Her words stirred a lot of reactions, especially from people already watching this situation closely. But Nicki didn't stop there. She went even further and directly accused Desiree Perez and Roc Nation of being connected to those swatting incidents, claiming there are people working behind the scenes trying to silence her and damage her image so her claims won't be taken seriously. That's a huge accusation, and it only added more tension to everything that's been unfolding. At the same time, you've got both Nicki and Katt Williams being labeled as crazy whenever they speak out, even though they've both had repeated situations involving law enforcement and public controversy. That pattern has people asking questions because at some point it stops feeling random and starts looking very calculated. So now the big question is all of this just a series of coincidences, or is there something bigger going on behind the scenes? Everyone is going to see it differently, but one thing is clear: power and influence can move in ways most people never get to see. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.